Greetings, cinephiles. Are you looking for a movie analysis podcast that stands above the rest? Then look no further than Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters.
We analyze good movies, we analyze bad movies, and yes, we also analyze the in-betweens of the world of cinema.
So if you like what you hear, find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts.
And yes, my friends, we are 420 friendly. So when you listen to us, smoke it if you've got it. And now, here's a new episode of Collateral Gaming. The show starts right now.
I'm Ashley Chancellor.
And I'm Megan Gomez.
And this is Collateral Gaming.
Welcome back to Collateral Gaming, the only video game podcast that matters, where we review good games, bad games, and everything in between. We've got some exciting little tidbits for you guys today, and we hope that you guys enjoy the podcast while we give you a listen.
Hell yeah. And yes, my friends, we are a 420 friendly podcast, so whatever you have, smoke it if you've got it. Today, we are covering, this is part 2 of our season premiere. As we cover the Doom franchise, which was your pick, Megan.
It was my pick. I wanted to talk about something that was very culturally significant, and something that kind of like left an imprint not only on me, but also just like on the gaming world in general. And we were kind of spitballing last season, and I was like, you know what we haven't fucking done is Doom. And Ash was like, yeah, no shit, we haven't done Doom. Like, what? Why? I'm like, I don't know, let's do it. He's like, all right, let's go. I was like, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, so here we are.
We kind of impulse decide, like, at the end of the window. It's fine.
Finally covering fucking Doom. If you haven't listened to part 1 of our episode on Doom 1993, go check that out. Unfortunately, even though that was Megan's pick, we just had a lot of scheduling conflicts and we weren't able to record that together, but we'll have some time today to talk about the franchise as a whole here. So
yeah.
But I understand that there are some bits of gaming news that we both wanted to cover, right?
Yeah, I've got a little chunk of it actually, because there's a lot of games that Alan and I have been playing. When we get the chance, I've had a lot of doctor's appointments and stuff going on, but we've been doing a lot of games. We've been playing mostly in the past couple of weeks. We've been playing Starship Troopers. Shout out General Rico. It's so fun. The game is only 9 gigs. If y'all have not played it yet and you love Starship Troopers, me kind of adding in a little bit of a plug. But yeah, I wanted to plug it. But yeah, if you're a fan of any Starship Troopers, you definitely need to play the game. It's a lot of fun. General Rico himself invested his own money into the game, and it's a blast. Even if you like half the time you die face down, ass up. It's wonderful. It's great. It's fucking hilarious. 10 out of 10 recommend. Also wanted to talk a little bit about, I don't know if you've played it, Ash, but it's kind of taken my wallet by storm. The First Descendant came out in July. I have been playing the shit out of it. My Viesa is a fucking tank. My Valve is hot as hell. They're all hot as hell because they're all Korean, and it's Korean developers who are horny as fuck. The Ultimate Freyna literally has fucking fishnets, and they are adding in, I shit you not, they are adding in jiggle physics.
Nice.
Nice. I wanted to shout out the 2 games. 1, because the developers are really awesome, and 2, I wanted to shout out Nexon, simply because they are the first developer that I've experienced with a type of game like this where you have seasons and things kind of evolve over time, and you're adding new story, adding new elements, you're kind of nerfing some things and adding buffs to others and doing all sorts of things. I wanted to shout out Nexon on the podcast. I doubt they'll give us a listen, but still gonna do it anyways. Just that they're an awesome developer, and I love that they listen to the community, and they feel like they really are trying their best to give quality of life to a game that is really fucking fun. There's paywalls, quote unquote, but it's mostly just for skins, just to see some ass cheeks. and like the currency is really not that expensive. But yeah, it's so much fun, and I wanted to give a shout out to those two. Yeah, I know we talked a little bit before we started the episode today too about game of the year. What the fuck is happening? What Jake Paul wins against Mike Tyson, fucking the election, side or not, I'm neutral in this fact, and I don't care if I get canceled for that, because I'm just neutral in a lot of things when it comes to
I
politics because I hate them all.
I'm at that point with politics. Like I'm just at the point where I don't care anymore.
Same, brother.
That's really where I'm at. I'm like, man, none of the way that I feel about this shit is gonna change anybody's mind or really serve any kind of purpose. So fuck it. Whatever happens, happens.
Right. Yeah. So all of this chaos is happening, and then game of the year is just what? I feel like there's so many games that could have been put on there.
Yeah, so the Game Awards announced the nominees for Game of the Year, as well as nominees for other categories. I was very surprised the Silent Hill 2 remake, which we're covering this season, did not make the list. Because honestly, if you asked me, that would probably be my Game of the Year. That was the game that impressed me the most. Although
Really?
I know the Game Awards historically doesn't do remakes and remasters. So
Yeah, which is disappointing.
but this year they're changing that. They've expanded the criteria. So so Silent Hill 2 could have made it, but instead we got Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, which a lot of people, there's a lot of contentiousness about it. Here's my thing. That's a DLC that's like arguably larger than
Don't game.
some of the games that have won in previous years. If you're gonna make an argument
Right.
for a DLC that should be nominated for Game of the Year, that would be on the table for me because I think it has content that rivals actual full standalone games. It's on content alone, I think it delivers. And especially if we're expanding the criteria to say that now remakes, remasters, DLC, new seasons that are a high enough quality, well received enough. If we're going to stretch that definition a little bit, then yeah, I can definitely understand why Shadow of the Erdtree of all things would make it. Personally,
Yeah.
I still think there should be a separate DLC category, if for no other reason than to showcase off other DLC. I mean, for fuck's sake,
Yes.
they have an ongoing game category. So
Right. Yeah, no, I think I'm a little bit upset by that just because I wish they would add more categories instead of just shoving a DLC in there. That's nothing against Shadow of the Erdtree. I personally don't play Elden Ring, but I have a lot of friends who do. I watch it. That's just not. It's like the Souls games. It's a game that I'll watch somebody play, but it's not something that I'll personally play just because it's just not my style. But I think it's beautiful, and I love watching the gameplay. Um, but I'm a little bit frustrated by it just because I wish that there was content just for DLCs. Because one, it's a great accolade to win Game of the Year, right? Like that's just like a thing. It's you seek that. That's like your Oscars for gaming. I want our developers to one be appreciated for the content that they give out as DLCs, and two, I want the developers who keep putting out the same fucking shit repackaged every single year or putting out little itty bitty DLCs every year to look at the standards and know that there's now a category that they have to meet. There is a standard that they have to meet.
sure.
Like Shadow of the Erdtree is now a standard,
Yeah.
right? Like the Breath of the Wild DLC, standard. The Horizon DLCs, a standard.
Witcher 3.
I want them to meet that. Yeah, I know.
Witcher 3 definitely I think is one of those I've heard
Yes.
that would definitely be on the list. So
Yeah.
I'm not too mad that Shadow of the Erdtree's on the list. I still think it should be its own category. But if any game, if any DLC could make it, I'm not mad it's that one. And I mean, on top of that, I agree with most of the other nominations. I mean, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Metaphor ReFantazio,
Mm,
100% agree. Those are fantastic fucking games. I've played them both. I've heard a
right.
lot of good
Right.
things about Astrobot. I haven't had a chance to try it myself, but
Me
Astrobot
either,
makes
but I
sense.
want to so bad.
Yeah, same. Wukong makes sense. I did play some of that, and
Yes.
I can understand why it would make the nomination. I would have been shocked if it hadn't. We also got something that I really actually don't know anything about except that it's like a card game, and that's Balatro. I n- ha-
Yeah.
I never hear about that game in the news. I think I've heard the name before, but like I never hear anybody talking about that. I'm kind of surprised that that made it in, but not Silent Hill 2. So if you ask me, I'm okay with the Shadow of the Erd Tree, but Balatro stealing Silent Hill's place was kind of a. I'm like I don't. It's like the Thanos meme, you know. It's like I don't even know your name.
Right. Right. And like also we just had freaking, and I don't know if it's like the Oscars or the Emmys or whatever, the Grammys, where like if it has to be released in a certain amount of time, but like hello, fucking Dragon Age just dropped. Fucking hello.
True, that game is very, very contentious. I wonder if it even made the deadline for Game of the Year because I know, for instance, like Cyberpunk didn't, and that released at the end of the
Right.
year. But
Right.
I know Dragon Age has had a lot of contention, not just over the quote unquote wokeness, but I've even heard a lot of back and forth about the quality of the game. I haven't tried it out for
Oh,
myself,
really?
so I can't say anything. Um, I I obviously have no problem with quote unquote wokeness. That doesn't bother me.
Right. Right.
But
I don't understand that. Like it's just I don't know. Um it's like whenever people get upset about what's her name? Halle Berry in the fucking Little Mermaid. She's a fish. Right. Like these are stories. It's okay. I don't mean to sound so brash, but I promise if you don't like it,
fucking
you can refund it.
pronouns,
Yeah, just
fucking
you can
gender
refund it.
ambiguity.
Yeah, I can't. I can't. Like it's okay. You can refund the game. You can return the game. You can get your money back and you don't have to play it anymore. If you're disappointed because of the content that's in the game and you know you've been waiting 10 years for this chapter, I'm sorry. I mean, imagine people who are on the opposite side of that spectrum. Like it's not just like everybody wants representation, right? And that's understandable. Um I wish that people wouldn't bash people so hard because if they hadn't added any inclusivity, then we would be at the other side and they would be like literally holding pitchforks because there's no inclusivity. There's no winning at
True.
this point.
Yeah, it's a nuanced issue, but I'll tell you what is as far removed from that as possible, and that's motherfucking Doom. Because Doom is just metal. Doom is just let's go to hell and let's fucking fuck shit up and let's kill all these
Let's go.
fucking demons and you know I'm gonna murder this dude with a chainsaw and the big fucking gun. Let's go.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. We just as all of this as compared to Doom, where you're literally just Mr. Badass fucking demons up because you can.
Because you can, exactly.
Literally,
So
he's just like, I'm bored. I'm gonna fuck some shit up in the 2016 one at least.
yeah, so 2016 was the first bit of Doom content that we've gotten since Doom 3, and I think it was a gap of like 12 years between
Hmm.
those games.
And it's like a re-chapter almost.
Yeah, so Doom 2016 is sort of a reboot. Well, it's a soft reboot. From what I've heard, it does actually take place in the continuity of the old games. So like the Doom
Hmm.
Slayer in Doom 2016 is the same guy from the 1993 game allegedly. And when you listen to the background information and the lore that's dropped in the game, I think that sounds true because they talk about how this guy is already this mythical figure. I mean, I think one of the most badass parts of the game is when you're going through hell and you're listening to these logs talk about Doom Guy. And
You,
yeah. I mean, this
and it's like
game
it's fucking ridiculous, but it's so good, and that's what makes it so good is it's that fucking ridiculous. Um, I think the funniest thing is like when you think of Doom Guy, it's like you start to think of like Isaac Clarke, for example. Like he to much very much reads very similar because in the first Dead space. Isaac doesn't talk. Doom guy does. He's like Link. He's fucking mute. um, so it reminds me a lot of that. Even a little bit of like the notoriety kind of reminds me a little bit of Master Chief. Just because it's like he's a fucking legend. Dude's just no one knows his fucking name. No one knows who this dude is, but they just know he's the Doom Slayer. He's the fucking bitch. He's that guy.
He is a Marine that disobeyed the orders of his superior officer firing on unarmed civilians. He said, "No, fuck that." Punched his superior officer and got left on one of the moons of Mars, and then all that shit just happened, and he's just been on all these adventures since. I mean, I'm not even that familiar with the Doom timeline. In fact, the only Doom games I've completed are the ones we've done for the podcast, which was Doom 1
Valid.
and actually I haven't even completed this game, but I'm most of the way through. I did just
Yeah.
I did just kick the Cyber Demon's ass. I remember fighting that guy in the original game, so that was an iconic fucking fight. But I wanted to take a moment actually, since this the franchise was your suggestion, it was your pick for the podcast, and we missed your opinion on the original game last episode. Megan,
Yeah.
if you wanted to talk about your just your overall feelings on the video game series and the first video game.
Yeah, I have a lot of feelings. One, the first game came out when my husband was born. Okay, so like Alan is to Doom as I am to Zelda, right? So that's our comparison, and I love that so much about
Nice.
us. Like we are both just two major franchises. We're born the same year as us. Or not even so much like Zelda, but like that style of Zelda, I guess I should say. Um, but there's so much to love about this game because it's literally just if I if I could explain rage, I would just show a clip of Doom. It's fucking chaos. He's pissed off. Like it's so iconic for that. The original game I never really played too terribly much. I remember watching people play it more than playing it myself. But it's just one of those things culturally as a gamer that just is like the name Doom. Like it's up there as a contender with your Zeldas and your Halos and things like that. Like it's fucking Doom. It inspired movies. Like it's fucking Doom.
It
Like I don't know what else to say. Like it encompasses itself in one word, the name.
Well, arguably the most influential video game of all time, actually. I mean, not only
Right.
for the first person shooter genre, but the gaming industry as a whole wouldn't be where it is today without Doom, which was a major point of our previous episode. Doom
Yeah.
was just the foundation for gaming as we know it.
Right. This is like Doom is the concrete pad to our house, right? Like it encompasses so many things that you can see the influence in so many games. Like when I think of the rage of Doomslayer, I start to think of Kratos and the God of War series, right? Because that came out after Doom. And Doom 2016 was 2 years before the latest God of War installment, and the anger and the rage kind of they're very cohesive there. I start to think of the acrobatics and things in games like Uncharted, where you're doing all of this jumping and you're doing all of this platforming of a sort, and that's also inspired by Doom. There's so many pieces that you can kind of look at contextually, and you can find pieces of Doom. You can find pieces of this game in the gaming industry. It would not 1,000,000% be anywhere near where it was without Doom. And I love that. And I love that, we do have like this foundational piece that is such a good fucking game. Like, not only did it inspire so much, like, it's just really fucking good. It's fucking fun, right? Like, I love that so freaking much. And that's why I was like, you know what? We're on we're going into season 7, right? Like lucky number 7. I was like, we haven't talked about it yet, and I feel like to get forward and kind of where gaming is evolving, where we evolve over time as a podcast, we also need to start back at the foundation of like what was something that was culturally significant that builds up to where we are now as well.
Well, and I'm calling this the golden season of Collateral Gaming because not only are we covering the fucking Doom franchise, but we're also doing Ocarina of Time and Super Metroid later this season. So,
Yeah.
and
We're doing the heavy hitters this season.
which is funny too, because actually originally we were going to do Doom as the season finale of last season, but I ended up just pushing it to the premiere, and I'm kind of glad that I did because I think it's going to fit in with if there's any sort of overall theme this season. And yeah, I'm really excited to talk about these video games, to actually get to properly play them for the first time, because I mean, I had played Doom before, but not a whole lot. Now I've
Yeah.
actually completed that game. I've played most of the way through this game, and I've even went and I watched the movie with The Rock and Carl Urban, which wasn't terrible. I actually enjoyed it. That whole first person sequence is actually Kino.
It's really cool, and you know what? It's The Rock, and I know that a lot of people have opinions about The Rock, but also like Carl Urban, Billy Butcher,
Hell yeah.
like fucking what's it called? Oh my god, Lord of the Rings. Like there's so many iconic roles of that man. So like he's also in Doom. He's a part of the Doom franchise, so it just makes him more iconic. Um, But yeah, I kind of feel like this season we're kind of going a little bit back to the start just to I feel like it's like a season of like cultural significance in gaming and like how that pertains to the gaming culture we have now. And I feel like we're going to talk about a lot of high points and a lot of low points. Like part of me almost wishes that we had saved Anthem for this season just so we could kind of like show like the contrast between like a developer that's loved upon and a developer that is like shoved into a corner because there really is a big difference, and I feel like the developers for this game and this franchise in general really got a lot of love because you can feel it in the game. Um,
Oh yeah.
and like the more time that I spend doing the podcast, the more I like to talk about developers because it's like there really is a cohesive parasocial relationship there.
Definitely. And id Software has a very unique relationship with its fans because of how open the modding community is with this franchise. Because I mean, originally these guys were doing shareware, and that's what their background was whenever they founded id Software. So it makes sense that they would be, and we talked about this in the previous episode, but they'd have this kind of open relationship with their fans, because I mean these guys literally what they used to do was take popular games and basically rip them and make free games out of that. And then they had
Mhm.
like kind of like the subscription model where they would release those. And the way that Doom worked was that they sent or episode 1 was free shareware. You downloaded it and you got to play through all the way through Knee Deep in the Dead, and then you would be able to download the other episodes uh, for a price after that. So they get you hooked, and then but my only point there was to say that that's where id Software was coming from. And so you can see that they still have this sort of unique position in the gaming industry, even in some of their newer releases. And they're still in control of this franchise. Uh, this game, while I don't think supports modding, I mean, there are mods for it on the PC version, but I don't think there's official support for mods. It does have uh, the snap map feature where you can like create your own custom maps and stuff, and it is a very moddable game. So you
Oh
can
yeah.
see. I heard the multiplayer wasn't too good though. I never tried that, so I can't say anything.
Yeah, I never tried the multiplayer. It's just not it's like the what's it called? The Mass Effect multiplayer. Like that's not something I'm gonna do. Like I'm gonna play the fucking campaign. The fuck do you mean? I'm just not gonna do that.
The campaign is what you came for, and it delivers. It
Right.
takes the original Doom formula and puts it on and into a modern context. And it feels very much like the modern version of Doom. And that's why it's referred to as a soft reboot, essentially, because ultimately the story really doesn't matter too much. We know that this is a Doom guy that's done some shit before and became a legend. He gets pulled out of hell again with all the demons. All hell breaks loose, literally. And he's got to
Yeah.
stop it. He's got to fuck some more shit up. And yeah, and then you've got the fucking banging metal soundtrack in the background while you're doing it. and they've added
So good. It's so good.
it's arguably even more violent than the original game was, because you've got these glory kills now where you can come in and just literally rip and tear these motherfuckers apart.
Yes, and as somebody who's I've been getting so into metal in the last year. I'm gonna say metal, but I'm gonna say that lightly because I listen to a lot of artists who are kind of ambiguous. Um, Token being one of them. They're very, very ambiguous in their music. But like Bad Omens, A Day to Remember, like you kind of get a feel for those guitar riffs and some of the soundtrack, and I can just literally chill and listen to the fucking Doom soundtrack while I literally did today, I shit you not, while I was submitting authorizations. Kid
Fuck
you not.
yeah.
I love that there is like a subculture of like the Doom soundtrack too, and like the Doom like there's like a culture behind like the music. Um, and I will say I'm gonna touch on this more a little bit later. Um, there has been a prequel announced
Yeah, Doom,
for this game.
the Dark Ages, right?
Yes. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this later. I'm sure we'll talk about it when we're doing our final thoughts. But if they do not reach out to Vessel and fucking Noah Sebastian for the shit, so help me God, I'm gonna cry because they're like Token's music is the type of music that transcends your fucking soul. I shit you not. I don't even know how to describe it. That's the only way I can. It needs to be in this fucking game because I feel like it would be so fucking cool. So fucking cool. It needs to. I can't. Like there's just so much about this series, and you were talking a little bit about the whole facet of pushing the 1993 into the 2016 and how they kind of came together. It was like this perfect meld. Like there was no other way I could see it being done, and they did it so beautifully and almost effortlessly. Like you really feel like it's like, ah, shit, here we go again. It's like, all right, let's go, boys. Like I'm about to go buy I don't even drink it, but I'm about to go buy a fucking Mountain Dew and a Little Caesar's pizza. That's just the vibe for this game, you know.
Fuck yeah.
Um I love that it is what it is and what it's done for the gaming community, and I feel like it's just such a it's so fucking violent, but it's so fucking good, and it's just the greatest way to get like you're pissed off, cool, go play some Doom, man. Like you're not gonna be pissed off. You're just gonna be like, yeah, this is middle of shit, brother. Like I fucking love that so much, so much.
Oh, totally. Yeah, this is a fantastic game to put on and just like vent out some fucking rage on these demons. I mean, with just these like intense gory glory kills, or slicing through them with the chainsaw. The chainsaw comes with fuel now. It's not unlimited, but it also
Which is a son of a bitch.
well, it also replenishes ammo, and it's an instant kill. So that's why you have to use fuel for it. I guess there's sort of a trade-off there. And so I found that it was useful. What I really enjoyed about the game was the fact that they made ammo something that is easily replenishable in the middle of combat. One issue with the original game was that at times, if you ran out of ammo because you didn't
You were fucked.
yeah, you were fucked, and you would have to go and explore the entire map, and so it could kill the pacing at times. Um, or if you were just one of those gamers that wasn't interested in the whole exploration aspect, then, you might get fucked later. Whereas in this game, ammo at least is something that's always going to be available in some form or fashion wherever you're at. So the pacing never cuts to a crawl. But if you do want to go out of your way and explore, you can actually find different types of rewards. I mean, not only do you get those cute little Doom Guy collectibles, which are fun,
I
Easter
love
eggs,
them. They're so cute. That's the only cute thing about this game.
but rather than having to explore the map to seek out better resources and better guns like in the original Doom, that's where you're actually going to get your upgrades. And I really like the upgrade system in this game. It's very streamlined. It doesn't ever feel overly complicated. It does exactly what you need out of a Doom upgrade system. I like the whole modding system. Every gun has two different mods that you can apply to it, and upgrade trees for each of those mods, or I guess branches of the upgrade tree, I should say. So you can kind of work out your play style and even switch between the modifications in mid combat to try to, work around the enemies or the level design or what resources are available to you. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. And as far as the other upgrades go, you just various perks that you can apply to the character so you can fine tune your play style. And then just, generally being able to increase the attributes of the Doom Slayer.
Yeah, and it's so easy to do everything. I feel like there's a lot of games that kind of overcomplicate their upgrade system and their points systems and things like that. Um, I feel like in Doom, it's the game itself, like, yeah, it can get overwhelming at times. You can get fucking overwhelmed. It can be a little bit intense, but I feel like in the simplest part of it, it can be simple. And the upgrade system is just it's easy. It's not overcomplicated. It's right at that perfect level where it's just like, okay, cool. Done, 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 done. Okay, I like this one with this mod a little bit better, but this one seems kind of cool, so I'm gonna check it out. Oh, just kidding, I don't fucking like that. Going back to that, like you don't get ramifications for exploring different things, and you don't get ramifications for like choosing two different, this mod or this mod. I really like that about Doom, that you're not like gonna, downgrade yourself because you're trying something out.
Right. And because there are so many different weapons available and weapon modifications for those weapons, and a skill tree system that allows you to, uh, have better control over the attributes of those guns and modifications, there's always something else to try out. If you don't have enough ammo for one type of gun, you can quickly switch to another, or you can prioritize and just, if you want to just have the super shotgun out all the time and be blasting these enemies, you can pour all your points into the super shotgun and get all the shotgun ammo that you need. I, I'm definitely a super shotgun guy. That's my main weapon. In fact, as soon as I got the
Same.
shotgun, the pistol pretty much fell out of use. And then the super shotgun came out,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh shit, let's fucking
Bitch,
go!"
me too. Me fucking too. No, like, I'm actually bringing this up because Alan is literally playing it right now, but I was playing Black Ops. I don't play as much anymore. I tried to download it and it ate up my entire fucking console and I couldn't play anything else. And I was like, I love you guys, but I don't have any room for this shit. So you're gonna have to wait until I get a PC. But I am the type of person when it comes to intense combat, I need a fucking shotgun. I need a fucking shotgun. I'm just that person. I'm the one that's gonna blast your head off right off the map. It's fine.
Yeah, it's usually my well, I'm a sniper and a shotgun guy. I'll go for either one. Same thing with Call of Duty.
Eh.
I mean, I kind of switch. With the new one, I've actually been kind of exploring some of the other guns more. But yeah, my mains are always shotgun and sniper. So in this game, of course, like the shotgun is my primary weapon, but I'll switch to the other ones for different things. Like originally you can kind of turn the if I want that sniper analog, you can turn the heavy assault rifle into sort of a sniper type weapon with that zoom attachment. And then later on, you get
Yeah.
the Gauss cannon, and one of the mods is specifically similar to the heavy assault rifle, a sniper attachment. So that basically becomes your sniper type weapon. Okay, now I can you turn my heavy assault rifle into and just kind of just sort of a DPS weapon, and let me put on the micro missiles.
Yes, the micro missiles. I love them so much. They do so much damage, but they're little bitty. It's wonderful. It's just there's so much. It's so much fun, man. It's just fuck yeah,
And then you could
fucking
turn
do.
the chain gun into a literal fucking mobile turret.
It's wonderful. The mods in this game are so cool too because it's like there's so many different versatile attachments that turn them into things that you would not fucking expect. It's just like why, but also yes.
Yeah, I remember having quite a bit of difficulty deciding on the my initial plasma gun attachment because they both sounded good. I was like, okay, I get a free stun, or I have a special attack that recharges the more I shoot the plasma gun. So it's like, huh, what am I gonna go for here? Well, the good news is that you're not stuck to one attachment. There are plenty of upgrades available throughout the game in order to unlock more modifications. So if you make a choice and you don't really like it, you can always just buy the other mod later, and you'll have enough to purchase every modification in the game. So uh, yeah, at first I was like, okay, well, let me just get one per weapon, and then I'll start double dipping. And then I was like, okay, yeah, I'm already like this far through the game, and I've double dipped most of my weapons now. So, and it even lets you switch between those mods mid battle. So you can change your play
Mm-hmm.
style like on a whim. Like, oh hey, look, I got a power up now, and you can add that adds a whole other element to the game because you've got the classic berserk, but they've also added some things like quad damage and haste.
There's so much shit that they added to this one that you're just like, wait, what? And then you realize, and you're like, oh shit! And oh my god, it's
Yeah, and then you get those skills that you get by doing the rune trials, and those can really break the game. I mean, once you level up a certain attachment and you've got the right perks equipped, I mean, you can literally break the game. It's possible. And I think there's a late game one. I think the very last perk you can pick up is one that gives you unlimited ammo if you have enough
yeah,
armor.
it's meta as fuck. It's meta as fuck.
That's insane.
So it's it's so there's so much shit that like if you were to insert this character into any other game, he would be so fucking OP. Like I started to think about today while we were getting ready for the podcast, like Doomslayer versus the entire clan of Yautja, he would win. Doomslayer versus every fucking animal in Horizon, he would win. Doomslayer versus fucking all of the zombies in fucking Black Ops, he would fucking annihilate them in 2 seconds. Like this dude is so fucking OP, and we just get to experience it with his stoic ass demeanor.
Yeah, and you really feel that as you play as the Doomslayer, and it kind of encourages you to be a little bit more badass because there's this whole lore about this dude, but the game really enables you to feel that. I mean, yeah, there's a difficulty curve. There's going to be a few times where you're just going to want to quit the game. I know I did. There were times when I was like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was impressed by how easy it is to recover in the middle of combat. You can be close to death, pull off a glory kill, find some health, or throw a siphon grenade and restore a little bit and get right back into the flow of things. And then you're just on your toes. It becomes a game of just never staying still for a moment. And you can dodge most of the attacks effortlessly if you really, if you sweat your balls off.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, once you get to like 3/4 of the way through, I feel like it's just constant movement. It's just constant moving around and fucking it's just chaos, but it's like the most fun chaos you've ever had in your fucking life. Like there's just no in between on it. I swear to God. Swear.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah, it gets really chaotic as they, like in the original game, just throw waves and waves of enemies at you. All right, let's lock you in a room and just throw all of these guys at you. And that's where, creativity starts to come in and you start to figure out, okay, well, what about this weapon that I don't use too much? Can I get a use out of it? Or what about this equipment? Like, I think for the longest time, I never used the equipment in the game, which is grenades, and there's a hologram too. I don't know if there's any more equipment that's waiting for me in the last few levels, but that's that. I've gotten two different types of grenades and a hologram so far, and sometimes I forget those exist because that's a whole new thing they
Yeah.
added. And they've got all the classic guns plus a few more, so there's a bunch of different play styles that you can use, and trying to just figure out what weapon is going to work for what type of enemy was something that I found was interesting, and could completely change a loop of the game that I was playing. Oh, I just couldn't get past by just kind of learning how to get good.
Get good, scrub. I love that there's like so much creativity in like what you can do because it's true. They literally just lock you in a room. They're like, ha, you'll never beat these guys, and you're like, ha, fuck you. There really is just there's no limit to what you can do, especially with the modifications and the way that you utilize your loadouts. For me, like I kind of do like a little bitty circle and just kind of like turn, turn, shoot, turn, turn, shoot, turn, turn, shoot, and then I'll go and jump across. And like I have like a certain play style for I feel like each game I play, like there's going to be a different play style because of just the software and the way that the game is created, right? But like I feel like Doom, you get a little bit more like stretch. It's like a little bit of a rubber band there,
Yeah.
and you get a little bit more versatility of what you can do. And like sometimes in those moments, like you said, you brush on your creativity. There are endless possibilities in ways you can fuck up some demons, man. It's wonderful.
Oh yeah. Even some of the rune trials kind of help you figure some things out. Like, oh, okay, so like I can do this with this weapon. And then you've got a specific skill that you can attach that can help make that style of play a little bit easier. Yeah, there's just so many different ways. And what's really fun is that you can go back and replay all the levels with all of your current
Mhm.
equipment, and that way you can find every secret. I still haven't come across any of the classic Doom levels in the game, but I know that that's a thing. Like there's actual, like, you pull a lever and you'll actually go into like the fucking classic Doom.
Yeah, it like switches, but it's like a little bit more optimized, so it's not as grainy, but it's still in it's like a bit-ish style. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds fun. I've been actually waiting to come across some of those because I haven't played this as much completionist as I normally do, mostly because I know I can go back and finish the levels, complete the levels later, do everything that there is to do. Mainly, I've just been trying to get through the game proper. But anytime I see something on my map, I'm like, no, I gotta go get that.
Right.
Yeah, one of the first upgrade branches that I went down was actually the one that shows you where all the secrets are on the map, and there's a noise whenever you're nearby. So all of the map skills I actually invested my points into first, so I could find all of those secrets, because they actually help you upgrade your character just finding secrets.
Yeah, and it's like a crazy upgrade.
Yeah, not only are some of the secrets themselves upgrades, like the little the little chips that you get in the UAC
Uh-huh.
guys, or the big upgrade things that you can find with Argent Energy that lets you increase your health or your ammo or your armor. But even just finding secrets counts towards one of the upgrade systems in the game. So, and just clearing out enemies as well. So there's as you explore the level and find more secrets and kill more enemies, you'll get stronger just doing that in general.
Right. And it's also just like it's a cool little tidbit too because it's not only are you like getting these little things and you're getting the little doom guys and you're getting the chips and things like that, but also like it's in itself a super cool callback that you get to see in real fucking time.
Yeah.
Like it's like they literally give themselves their own Easter eggs and make the Easter eggs so fucking cool. And I'm just like, huh, wait, what the fuck? That's from okay. Like I don't see a lot of franchises except for maybe like Black Ops. They have a lot of Easter eggs. You can go to Nuketown and shoot all the heads off the mannequins and shit.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but like I've never seen where they create an upgrade that's based on little hints and tidbits from the original game. That's the cool fucking concept that I feel like nobody talks about.
Yeah.
You've returned. The only flesh and blood to walk between dimensions. Between our world and theirs.
and I'm excited to see like where they take all of this in the next game. I haven't played Doom Eternal yet, but I've heard that it builds off of the last game and then actually like goes in a whole other direction with some stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played too much of it myself. I think Alan may have played it. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to ask him. Um, but from what I understand, some of the shit in that goes just fucking left field, and you're just like, what the fuck?
I,
Huh?
I I heard he talks a little bit. I've seen some of the scenes. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I'm not okay with that. That's gonna be like if Link ever talks. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. Please don't.
it's all
I'm so used
very
to just
it's all very simplistic though, so it's like it's something that I could hear the Doom guy in my head saying, but I guess I'll have to kind of like see it in action, as I play through the game. I'm actually excited because I want to finish this one. I want to play through Doom Eternal, and then I want to play Doom the Dark Ages when it comes out. We should probably cover it.
Oh yeah. I was thinking about it because I mean it sounds really fucking cool, and also like it's a continuation but yet a prequel of a very well loved franchise, and like I'm glad that you're having obviously a lot of fun with Doom, so I would love to cover that and like nerd out a little bit over Mr. fucking Angry Man, because why not? There's gonna be so many like names by the end of this, I swear. Little, like, not even little angry giant angry man, Mr. Size a lot, so many.
It doesn't have an official release date yet, but it is set to come out
Mm-mm.
next year. So I'm yeah, I definitely like to finish this through. Play through each of these levels a few times as well because they do feel very replayable. Although I was impressed by how long the levels were.
Yeah, some of them kind of drag on a little
Some
bit.
of some of them do. Some of them do. You're like, okay, like I just fought this huge wave of enemies, and that's just like the midpoint of the level, and you're like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, like it's like a Souls game. Why does it keep going?
Yeah, like this game I can do in bursts. I think that's why I haven't completed the game. That and I'm juggling a lot of other games at the moment. Even though we've
Yeah.
had so much time, I haven't done it because I feel like it's a game I can play in bursts. I don't think I could do more than 2 levels in a row, at least for the first time. Now, once we go back and replay these with better equipment and I learn the levels a little better, that might change. But most of the
Right.
time, I get through a level and I'm like, oh, well, if I start another level, I'm gonna want to finish it. So I'm like, do I want to start a whole other level right now? Because you could easily put an hour or two into each level if you're actually seeking out all the collectibles or you're getting through a
Oh
difficult
yeah.
part of the combat.
Right. Absolutely. It's one of those things too where it's like it's wow, I'm gonna sound like a dick for saying this, but it's like Animal Crossing in a way. Where I know
Okay.
this is the strangest comparison because it's fucking Doom, right? But it's a game that you can not play for a long time and then just pick back up randomly and then be like, oh yeah, oh shit. Yeah, I'm gonna play that. Yeah, I'm gonna play that. All right, let's go. I know it's the weirdest comparison, but
No, no, I get what you're saying. And the story's very light, so you really don't have to worry too much about that. You could just jump in and you're like, okay, yeah, I remember how to play fucking Doom. And
right.
also, I wanted to talk about the BFG because I got that a few levels ago, and I was waiting for it. I was like, I
Yeah.
filled every slot in the weapon wheel, and I was like, where's the BFG gonna go? Is that gonna like replace the pistol or something? Because like I never fucking use that anymore. But I'm like, no, because that has upgrades. I'm like, how are they gonna do it? And then I realized once I got it, at first it didn't even tell me how to switch back to it. I accidentally switched out the BFG and I was like, how the fuck do I get back to it? And then I realized, oh, it's the
No.
it's the triangle button. The one button I actually have never fucking used this entire game. I hadn't even
Right.
realized.
Right. That's for me that's the weirdest utilization of a weapon in this game, and it's a little bit of a pain in my side a little bit there.
Yeah.
But oh my god, it's so fucking fun that it's like a caveat because it's like it's so fun, but at the same time, why?
But the thing with the BFG in the original game too was that it was a rare weapon. Even if you carried your
Yeah.
your weapons over every single level and therefore didn't have to start from scratch every time, you would lose everything by the end of each episode. So usually the BFG would only appear in the later levels of an episode, and if you utilize save states properly, or just didn't die, you could manage to carry that through until the end of the level. But it utilized so much of your plasma ammo that it was like a very much a only use it once in a while. Like, this is the weapon you want to save for
Mhm.
bosses. Uh,
Right. That's your boss gun for sure.
and it's the same way in this game. It's also very useful for wiping out huge hordes of enemies, though. Like, let's say you have just a massive number of enemies on the screen, including some very heavy hitters. Like, maybe you just gotta. I used the BFG on those two Barons of Hell just to wipe them out in one go in one of the levels. I think it's the level
Oh yeah, for
where
sure.
it's the level where you get the BFG, and they're at the very end of the level, and you get two Barons of Hell at once. I guess reminiscent to the end of Knee Deep in the Dead. By the way, on the last episode, I think I referred to them as Hell Knights, which is incorrect. The Hell Knights are the lesser versions of the Barons of Hell, and in this game, the Hell Knights
Yeah.
are just melee guys, but they're a bitch to fight against. Them and the Pinkies. The Pinkies significantly increased in difficulty for some reason.
Yes. We don't talk about Bruno because they piss me off. But yeah, it's almost like it prompts you. It's like, hey, here's this gun. By the way,
Yeah.
these two Barons of Hell. You're like, why? What? No.
I messed up because I used it too many times, because they were freely giving me ammo in that level. I was like, I know that this BFG ammo is gonna be low, but I'm thinking in this level they're giving me a bunch of it so I can test the weapon out. So I'm like, okay, as long as they're continuing to give me ammo. But they give you a couple rounds in that like final fight, that final few waves of enemies. But if you're not careful and you just use them to wipe out a bunch of enemies at once, you won't have them for the end. So I'm sitting there trying to fight these Barons of Hell with low health, and I've already used up my BFG, and I was like, fuck, I should have saved it for these guys. Well, it's okay because I died, so I restarted, and then I knew, okay, now I got to save that BFG ammo for that last bit. And I was able to, and I knocked him out in one hit without a struggle. So I was like,
See?
that's what you do. There's a little bit of strategy involved. Or when you get to the Cyber Demon, they give you a few BFG ammo and for that, specifically for that fight. But you also want to use it strategically, because when you hit it, it does a ton of damage. It staggers him, and you can hit him again and get some health or ammo from him. So you may want to wait until you need health and or ammo to do that.
Right. Yeah, don't just utilize it right away because you will fuck yourself. I'm glad that you ended up getting some rounds because I feel like otherwise you wouldn't have been able to get through it.
Yeah. I mean, I already was used to the original game, leaving the impression that the gun has some sparsity to it. I just figured that this game sort of just auto managed that by when it gives you BFG ammo, as it's its own unique ammo. But I've come to find out that the game may provide it before a few waves of enemies or a boss fight, but you still want to make sure that, you know, in those particular situations, you're waiting until the right moment to use it. So, and that was an element of the original game with every gun, and as well with this one. But for most of the other weapons, ammo is at least plentiful enough that you can kind of just use whatever suits your play style.
Right, exactly. But I mean, you can use it. There's so many different ways to utilize it too. Like you said, like on different, um, like hordes to bosses and shit. Like there's so many different. It's very, but you have to use it sparingly. For me, that's like when a game says that like there's a rare item and that you shouldn't use too much of it. I never use it
Oh yeah.
ever.
I could be guilty of that sometimes. It's like, oh shit, okay, well, when do you use it? You gotta give yourself allowances.
I'm a hoarder for sure. Every game, every fucking game. I don't care. I don't care if it's a common item. I have 300.
I think with the big fucking gun, I was actually afraid of being a hoarder. I was like, no, I should use this. Like, if they're giving me ammo here, I think I'm supposed to use it here. So, but you mean you can still carry that over to the next level and have that for a later use. So you can always just kind of figure out what you want to do with it. Um,
Right.
and you will run out of ammo for a particular type of weapon, but what's nice is you can just swap over to another weapon, or just once you've exhausted ammo for a few different ones, it's like, okay, well, now I can pull out my chainsaw, get some ammo back, rinse and repeat.
Right. The chainsaw is it's like a demon palate cleanser.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it allows you to just basically reset and get back and use whichever weapons are going to help you. More particularly, and so I found myself actually kind of utilizing everything at my disposal, but mostly the super shotgun,
Right. Right, as you should.
which doesn't come with any mods actually, but you can upgrade the shotgun itself. So that was the very first weapon I maxed out. I think
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you can upgrade it so that you can shoot it twice before you have to reload.
Mhm. That's exactly what I was, like, gunning for as soon as, like, I realized that was a thing in this one, I was like, "Oh, yeah. Let's do that." So I was like, "I don't care. I'm using the shotgun. Fuck you. I'm using the shotgun. Leave me alone. I'm using the shotgun." Like, I didn't want anything else.
Oh fuck yeah! And by the time you get it, I think you can manage your shotgun ammo pretty well. You don't really have to ever worry about it. Again, if you don't even come across that specific type of ammo, just use some chainsaw fuel, and there you go. Now you've got some shotgun ammo back. So it doesn't matter if you want to main a one weapon, you can do that. If you want to kind of try everything out, you can do that. And yeah, there's just so much fun to be had and just figuring out the right your right strategy for overcoming these obstacles, because there's no one right way to get through any particular fight, but there are a bunch of wrong ways.
Yeah, you can die a lot.
Totally.
If there was, like, a trophy for, like, the ways that you can fuck up, I have definitely gotten the solid gold Cupid doll. 'Cause I fucked up a lot in Doom. It's fine. We're fine. Everything is just fine.
Yeah. Well, it even comes down to like when to collect power ups that are provided to you. Because you're like, oh, ooh, a power up. Let me go grab it. But then, if you have that upgrade later that has it to where power ups fully restore your health, then you may want to wait to use that, or just wait until a harder wave of enemies, because a lot of those cases they come in waves. Like whenever you're trying to knock out one of those nests.
Damn it, the net.
And there's even
Ah,
secrets, to be found sometimes in a particular arena. So you might find, a pickup that'll restore all your health and armor just hidden behind the scenes. That happened to me. There was one I was like, I easily could have grabbed this in the middle of the fight, and that would have helped immensely if I just knew it was here.
right. Every time you find it after you fucking need it. Every fucking time. Every
Yeah.
time. But they're so fun. And like the secrets are so cool, but then it's like you're like, ah fuck, that was hard. And then you're like, God,
Yeah.
why? It was right there. Like it's so stupid sometimes.
I do feel like going into some of the frustrations, I do feel like the platforming can be hit or miss. Sometimes I did struggle quite a bit with the platforming, although I think it is one of those situations where it's just like get good.
I'm kind of 50-50 on that too because like I played like Mirror's Edge, right? And that game is entirely fucking platforming and fucking parkour, and you're literally sliding down the side of a fucking building to jump in a door that's red on the other side of the fucking a whole city block away, right? Like that game can be fucking hard. That game is great if you want to like utilize and like pick up on your platforming because like you have to time things perfectly. You have to be on snap with that. So I feel like it's 50-50, like a get good thing, but also there are some points where it's like it's frustrating because you're trying to move or you're trying to like turn around to shoot something or you're trying to, go to the secret and it's so much a pain in the ass. Like sometimes it's like, yeah, fuck yeah, platforming, doom. And then other times it's like, God damn it, I don't want to have to jump 37 times to just get to one fucking thing, you fucking whore.
Yeah,
Ah.
and oftentimes there are significant chunks of the game that you have to play through again whenever you reload a checkpoint. And that may include some vertical scaling. I mean, the levels have a lot of verticality to them, but I'm impressed by the map system. I thought that was done very, very well. The 3D map,
Yeah,
Metroid Prime
yeah,
style.
yes. Yes, and I as much as we talked about this game being an influence, I really hope that they did pull inspiration from Metroid for that because the Metroid maps are unmatched.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Unfucking matched.
Yeah. So the 3D map actually helps quite a bit with gaining your bearings, and you'll want to check it from time to time too, because secrets will pop up on the map even if you haven't seen them with your own eyes. And as mentioned before, I believe there's an upgrade that actually does just go ahead and reveal them on the map for you from the start. But you'll often, if you check your map, you'll often see that there's a secret of some kind in the vicinity, or something that may be of use to you. So the map management was done really well, and the levels I feel like really do toe the line between linear progression and giving you bits to explore, and sort of, but there are also a lot of missable collectibles. If you're not checking your map, you can get to a point where you can't go back to that. Well, that's where replaying the level again comes into play. You're like, okay, next time I'll remember that. Or, just knowing
Right.
the level and where you're gonna get certain armor or health pickups and whatnot, so that you can sort of manage the way that you're going to go about it. Uh, yeah, I think that the game has it's really good at that.
Yeah, and it's easy to also, like, I feel like the game creates its own quality of life in the replayability of being able to go back into the levels with your weapons upgraded and modded. It's also a way to test, like, what your DPS going to be like. What does this do with this mod? Like, it's a good way to, like, go back and kind of check yourself in a way, because I mean, there's not really a moment where you're ever just like, oh yeah, let me just go test this in the lab really quick. So it's a good way to kind of, like, see, like, oh, okay, well, I missed this secret, I want to test out this gun, let me go back to this level, and then I can go and run through again and see how this performs, how this goes out, and then grab the secret on my way out. Like, it's great.
Yeah, and in doing so, help upgrade your character. I mean, I might consider actually replaying some of these levels now, just to beef the Doom guy up just a little bit more to carry me through those last few levels, because I imagine that the difficulty is only going to increase by the end.
Oh my god, by the end it's so fucking it's fun, mind you, like, Doom is always fun, but by the end it's so difficult at some points that you literally are just like, I can't touch this. I'm literally going to get so frustrated right now.
Yeah, yeah. It could be an anger inducer. You're like, motherfucker. It's like my neighbors must be so
Yes.
fucking done with me, because like I'm like, most games, like I can play through it. I don't get too angry, but Doom 2016 had a little bit of an effect on me at times. But it just means it's a challenging game. I mean, I felt the same way with Elden Ring. Um, some of these other games I don't struggle as much with, because they're just more they're less focused on the difficulty of the experience. They might be going for something else like horror, but now Doom is all about the difficulty. It's not a game that you could cheese by just having the right equipment. Like it's always going to be a little bit difficult.
I also love the fact that we just continue, like, it just kind of became a thing. Like, he never had a name, so we just named him Doom Guy.
Yep, he's
It
just
was
he's
just a
just
fan
Doom
thing.
guy. Uh,
He's just Doom Guy.
Occasionally known also as the Doom Marine or the Doom Slayer, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think even the subtitles in Doom Eternal still refer to him as Doom Guy.
Really?
Yeah.
I never noticed that. I have to look. It wasn't something that I paid attention to too much, because it's been a long time since I touched that one. Um, but I'm gonna have to go look at that now, because that would be fucking hilarious. Like, I always just say Doomslayer because it sounds more badass, but
In game, I think he's mostly referred to as the Doom Slayer. One of the lore entries calls him the Doom Marine, but all the collectibles are named Doom guys, or it'll be like UAC
that's true.
Marine guy, or yeah. So Doom guy is an official name. It's officially recognized by id Software.
Yeah, if you look up Doom Guy, it just shows Doom Guy.
But all right, I guess we'll go ahead and get into our final thoughts here. Megan, what are your conclusions on Doom 2016 and the franchise as a whole?
Okay. Going into Doom 2016 and the franchise as a whole, um, I know that it's might be a little bit difficult for somebody to play, if they don't particularly have, like, Switch Online or something where they can, grab that or whatever. Um, if there's not a way for you to play the 1993 version, I would say play the 2016 version. If you're wanting something that kind of feels like the foundation, like we were saying, of so many culturally significant moments, the foundation of a lot of games and the inspiration for a lot of things that we're doing now in the gaming circuit, in the gaming community, in the gaming world. Look at Doom. It's always a fun play. It's something to pick up. It's got a lot of versatility. It's just fun, right? It's something that you can fuck around and just play. And it's its own cornerstone and keystone for so many things as a game that it needs to be played just to appreciate and feel the cultural significance. Because a lot of what we do today is based on the 1993 and 2016 versions of these games, and they're very important. They always say don't forget history. Like, don't forget about these games, please. Especially now that Doom: The Dark Ages is going to be coming out next year, and this we'll get into that in a moment. I know that's going to be at the wrap up there because we're going to have a whole separate little subplot there. But yeah, I picked this mostly because I wanted to talk about things that bring cultural significance in this season. I feel like we kind of touched on that a little bit when we were in our group chats, kind of discussing what we were going to do this season, and I feel like this had to be the start of our season. It was a great way to start off the season. It's a great way to get things started and kick things off, and it's a fun fucking game. You literally just run around and fuck shit up. You're the Doom guy, fucking up bitches and taking names.
Hell
I don't know
yeah.
about fucking any hoes. I mean, there's Isabel, but whatever.
Oh, Doomslayer fucks. Definitely.
Doomslayer fucked. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it fucking metal franchise. I think that's something we mentioned in the previous episode, is that Doom is the epitome of metal. I mean, just
Yes.
everything about it is metal as hell, and that's what Doom 2016 is. It brings all of the energy from the original game. Also, I'm about to circle back to something you said. Did you say if you can't play the 1993 Doom game?
Yeah, if you're not able to play it.
Okay, I have a bone to pick with that because Doom 1993 is the most ported video game of all fucking time. I mean, are you forgetting that people can play Doom 1993 on a smart fridge? We had a whole list in the episode of everything, the wildest things that people have ported Doom over. There's no universe in existence, I think, where you can't play the original Doom.
That's valid, but I feel like also some people just don't use like emulators or ports or anything. So I was just like, like if that's not something you're one interested in or two,
Fair enough.
Something that you're just like, I don't want to go through all the trouble, then just pick up 2016. But I see your point and I understand your point and I agree with your point because it's software. So they're like, you can port it on a TV. We think that's fucking cool, guys. Let's do it. Like, what?
You could play it on a pregnancy test. You could play it on a fucking grain of rice. But I see what you're saying though, because I mean, and it is an older game, so for some people that it may not appeal to them. Doom 2016 takes that and puts it in a modern context. So anybody can pick
Right.
up this game and enjoy it. And it is going to feel very different from other first person shooters like Call of Duty. It occupies its own space in the genre. Although, I mean, it's basically responsible for the genre. Doom wasn't the first person shooter, but it was the game that popularized the genre. And before the term first person shooter was in use, they were actually referred to as Doom clones.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of bitches out there, but none of them are Doom. Okay? There's a reason why we say it's significant because there's a lot of dupes, but none of them are the real thing.
But Doom 2016 is Doom. And that's really, really exciting for the gaming industry. I mean, I know this came out a few years ago, but the fact that in the modern era, and in the previous console generation, we still have Doom at its core, made by id Software, and they're still going strong. As mentioned, we have Doom Eternal and Doom: The Dark Ages coming out. I think you had something to say about that.
Yes, before we break off on that avenue, I did just want to add in one little point here. I love that there was a way to breathe life into this for the next generation to appreciate. I
Totally.
think that's so cool for us as gamers, and I just love that this continues to happen for so many different franchises, and that Doom was really one of the cornerstones for that as well. It just makes me feel so good as a gamer getting to like talk about things that were cool when we were kids, and then now it's going to be remade or remastered for our kids to play. Or hey, this game, came out 20 years ago, but it's still playable. Like, hey, do you want to, let's figure this one out together. I mean, this one I don't know that you would play with your kids. It's kind of metal as fuck, but it's fine. But yeah, going into metal as fuck, I'm so excited. Doom: The Dark Ages is coming out. It's going to be so. From what I understand, and mind you, I've tried not to put myself too much into it, um, just because like I want to be as surprised as possible. Um, there is a trailer, but you are literally, and Ash, I make this comparison because I don't know how else to. You are literally like a Souls Knight put into the Doom universe. You're playing as a medieval knight in a techno medieval world.
Fuck
How
yeah.
fucking cool is that? How fucking like like there's so many different ways and avenues that they can go with this franchise going towards the future, and I really 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 hope that this game kicks off because I feel like it's going to be like the Predator franchise, where the Predator franchise is kind of starting to branch out and do different things. Like we just had this latest one, Prey, where it was in like Native American esque, with oh my gosh, I can't remember her name, and I'm so sorry. I can't, and it's me, Amber something. Um, but they had this kind of like different type of predator, and this different type of stuff. Um, it's cool that we're getting to see something where they're branching out and broadening their horizons, but also like there's a little bit of a throwback at the same time, and you're still getting Doom Guy, but in a fucking medieval suit.
You're talking about Amber Midthunder,
What
by the
the
way,
fuck?
right?
Yes, yes, Amber Midthunder. I was like, it starts with an M, but I can't get it right now. But yeah, she speaks the language. And I don't want to fuck up the name, so I'm not going to say it. But she speaks the language, and she utilized a lot of that in the movie, kind of like how they used the traditional Japanese in Shogun. Um, but yeah, we're getting to see Doom mixed with medieval. How fucking like what, dude? I can't wait. I can't wait.
In a way, it's a call back to some of the medieval Doom mods that have persisted into the modern day. I mean, you realize people are still fucking modding the original Doom.
Oh yeah. It's just like a hobby for them. It's like people that mod Skyrim, like they just can't stop, and I think that's a movement that started with Doom, then moved to Skyrim.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like id software kind of wants to experiment with that. Maybe saw some influence there that they could use and in order to create something new, because I mean, what else are you gonna do? I mean, we've had this many Doom games now, and yeah, let's start with Doom 2016. We're gonna take the original game and we're gonna bring it into the modern era, and then with Doom Eternal, apparently, like, let's put a whole new spin on that. Let's do some new things and experiment, because we successfully managed to reproduce Doom. So what else can we do with it, carrying the series
Right.
forward? And how fitting is that for Doom, the game that is one of the most modded in existence? It makes sense.
Yeah, and it's so cool, and it's such a cool concept that I'm so glad that they're getting to explore it. Um I'm really excited to watch what they're going to do, how this is going to develop, what this is going to do for the gaming community, because every time they come out with a game, it creates a new influence. They always like id Software isn't talked about enough for how much of an influence they have always been on the gaming community.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's who they are. I mean, again, Doom is arguably the most influential video game of all time. It was something that transformed the industry, and the fact that this is such a loving callback to their own product made by the same company with love for their fans is phenomenal. I mean, there was just something very special about going through hell again. You get to the hell level and you collect those the colored skulls to use as keys.
Yeah.
I mean, they had the key
Yeah.
cards in the other levels, and that was cool. But then they brought the fucking skulls, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And even the little skull switches, and
It's just so fun, and I love. I touched on this briefly, but I love that there's such a wonderful parasocial relationship between the developers and the players, and that there is that sense of community there, and it really is a big part of gaming as a whole, and that there is this subculture on its own that really shines and thrives all throughout all this time. Like this game came out 31 years ago, the original, and it's still being talked about and played and modded, and it still has its own life. Not to mention the 2016 version that's still getting played by streamers on TikTok. It's still getting played all the time. And then no, you go into Eternal, and Eternal is, a great game, and it really touches on, a lot of the great things, but expands it in a little bit of a different way. So to take all of that in stride and then push forward and bring in a prequel, I just feel like they're doing so many good things for themselves and for the fans that I can't wait to see what happens next. It's just so exciting and so thrilling, and it's just so much fun, honestly.
yeah, yeah, it's like they know what makes the series great, and they want to take that and put their own spin on it. I mean, they even did that really well in just this one game. I mean, uh, going back to like the key cards, that's one of the thing I remembered I wanted to bring up, because there's a couple levels where the quote unquote key cards that you use are body parts. Like you use this dude's
Yes.
arm, and then later on the dude's whole fucking upper torso to unlock a door to get
Hmm.
to the BFG.
Yes. Yes. You use tummy to get to the door. Tummy door. That's what I affectionately call it. I'm like, oh, it's tummy door.
What a way to take a core element and just fucking spit it out and do something crazy with it. Just going back to the very opening of the game. I mean, it throws you right into the action, gives you a gun, gives you
Oh
a
yeah.
few demons to fight, and you're thrown into it right away with a new rendition of the original At Doom's Gate track. By the way, Mick Gordon did a phenomenal job with this soundtrack. I know we talked about it earlier,
Oh
but
yes.
yeah,
Yes.
all of it. What was cool is that in the original Doom, it's just like every level had its own track. But what they've done here is that you have different tracks that play, like when you're just exploring, and then when you're in like the middle of the combat, and you're gonna blare that heavy metal.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's so cool. It's like the sound design on this was it's you start to think about the way that like sound production has been in games in recent years, especially with games like, um Here's the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild being a prime example. The moment you start riding on a horse, you hear that beautiful piano medley. You're dropping down from one of the Sky Islands, and you get a little bit of a different soundtrack. I love that they added a fucking metal element to it. Like, how they're like, this is your exploring metal. Here's a riff guitar. Oh, you're fighting? Here's the bigger metal, bitch! Like it's wonderful. I love it so much. It's
Fucking
just great.
A.
It did such a good job.
But yeah, I had an absolute blast playing Doom 2016. I'm excited to see what else the franchise has to offer up to today and going into the future. I mean, I'll definitely be getting Doom: The Dark Ages day one, and I'd love to cover it as a game lunch
Oh
episode.
yes. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, there is part two of our season finale. We did our numbered episodes a little out of order, but we finally got that done. Uh, Check out also our part one of our episode on Silent Hill 2 remake, which is our spoiler free review, and then very soon we're gonna go ahead and drop part two and get into the full spoiler discussion of the new Silent Hill 2 game. I've got a lot to say. I've been enjoying the hell out of it. I even went back and I've been playing the original game now, so I can say I actually completed it. I had mostly finished the game, but I hadn't completed it before. I'm going to have completed it by now before we release that next episode. And then this month's planned content will be Mario and Luigi Brothership. So Zach and I are going to be covering that in 2 parts. With again, part 1 being kind of our spoiler-free review. So expect that very soon, as the game just launched a little over a week ago, I think. Or maybe we're running up on 2 weeks by now. I'm not too sure. Yeah, but we'll have that out very, very soon. And then next month we can get into our Zelda month. We're going to be doing The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and we are also going to be doing our holiday special on The Grinch, which we planned to do last year. So we'll do it this year. Also, stay tuned for more Collateral Let's Play. I know I've been talking about doing Call of Duty Saturdays for a couple weeks now, and I still haven't done it. I've been busy. I Honestly, I think in both cases it was because I was planning on recording something else for the podcast, and that just took priority. But hopefully,
Yeah.
yeah, this upcoming Saturday, as of the time of recording, we'll go ahead and get out our very first Call of Duty Saturday for Collateral Let's Play. Black Ops 6 Season 1 just launched, so there'll be a whole lot of more content for me to dig into with that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I haven't played too much of it since the new update. When the game launched, I was playing it every day, but I've gotten a little bit busier since. But at least once a week, I'll be playing COD and getting my ass handed to me probably, but maybe kicking ass every once in a while. And you guys can watch me play that on our YouTube channel. I have gotten all of our Let's Play content on the Collateral Gaming channel, so you can go check that out there and check out all of the Let's Plays that Bo recorded. And we also basically redid our entire audio content on YouTube for both podcasts, Collateral Gaming and Collateral Cinema. YouTube introduced a new podcasts section where you can link your RSS feed and it'll just automatically update the episodes based on that rather than having to go back and
Oh.
generate videos for those episodes. So I reorganized all of our content on YouTube so that it can be a better place. So I remember mentioning before to people like, yeah, I would rather listen to our podcast on other platforms because YouTube is missing a lot of content. Well, I fixed a lot of that. Aside from the fact that YouTube's fucking algorithm based copyright system is bollocks. It is ass. They've auto blocked at least a couple of episodes, including our recent Street Fighter review with Collateral Cinema. We did a collab episode on the 1994 Street Fighter movie. You can go check that out wherever you get your podcasts, except for YouTube, because YouTube are a bunch of assholes.
Oh, well, that's rude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fuck Google.
if you guys are playing Starship Troopers, let me know. Shout out the podcast. I would love to be friends or join our company, Rastax Roughnecks. Um, or if you're playing First Descendant, let me know. Season 2 is going to be launching here soon. So I know Ash, your kind of thing is Black Ops and in COD. Mine has kind of been the First Descendant. I know I haven't been on any episodes to really talk about it, but if you're wanting to squad up or play the First Descendant, let me know.
I did play a little bit of it because we were going to do the episode. We were very busy, and I don't think we really had much of a chance to record it. But I was planning on doing that because the season 1 had just launched. I don't know. Maybe we can drop something by the time there's a new
Season
major
2.
update or season 2. Um,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, they had the mid-season update back in October. But we could do something maybe like a mini, just on like what we're thinking of the season and just of course praising the gods at Nexon because the fucking jiggle physics.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. I've never been huge on looter shooters, but this one does seem pretty decent.
So much fun. It's
Yeah,
so
I
fun.
actually was having fun with it, and it's free to play. So
Yeah, it's free to play.
fuck yeah. So yeah, a lot of content coming out. Also check out Collateral Cinema. I know I mentioned we did a collab review with them on the Street Fighter '94 movie. We also featured the Vern from Cinema Recall and Jim from Film Rage on that. So it was kind of a 4 podcast collaboration extravaganza, which was crazy. By the way, we're going to be doing something kind of similar here with Zelda Month next season. I can't believe I didn't mention it, but not only is Mr. Dan Rockwood going to be joining us as a special guest for the first time
so excited. I love Dan so much.
Tears of the Kingdom, I think, was the last time we had him on the show. And,
I know.
And not only are we going to have Dan on that, but we also have a couple guests joining us from the last video game podcast. So if I'm understanding this correctly, it's going to be the 3 of us, you, me, and Zachary, Dan, and 2 guest hosts from the last video game podcast on this episode.
Wow.
And I even invited Bo to join. I'm not sure that he will. Because we've just been had a lot of content, and we already have like 6 people as it is. But if he wants, we could have a maximum of 7. And you know what? I'm going to allow it because it's the Ocarina of Time episode.
Right. It's like one of the most iconic Zelda games of all time. It's one of the most iconic games of all time. Why would you fucking not?
We could be the 6 or 7 sages, which works either way.
Because we should definitely all dress up for the Ocarina of Time episode and all dress up as a sage. It's fine. We're fine.
Yeah, that would be fun. So yeah, stay tuned for that next month and more. I'd like to also, once we get caught up with our content, I'd like to start releasing some bonus round content. One of our fans on the show, one of the fans that engages with us quite a bit on social media, Mr. Sean Bateman, has recommended quite a few games for us to cover, and I'd like to. I'd like to cover one of those maybe on the bonus round.
Yeah, shout out Sean, you're a G, dude.
On Collateral Cinema, we did, per his recommendation, the live-action adaptation of Wicked City with the infamous pinball scene, and that was a lot of fun. So I'll trust him for recommendations from here on. So yeah, I'd love to feature one of those, Sean. If you're listening, man, yeah, we'll cover one of your games soon. You've probably been shouting requests at us at least for the last year. So I'd like to get going on that. But yeah, you can find Collateral Media wherever you get your podcasts. We're on all major podcast platforms, and we're also on social media. So you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, I did finally get going on our Blue Sky account. I know a lot of people are migrating away from Twitter, so I've actually been putting a lot of attention into promoting the podcast and retweeting or reposting things on both Threads and Blue Sky.
Yes.
So yeah, we're actually growing on both of those platforms, and going to be using those more often in order to engage with other podcasters and fans, listeners.
Yeah, and we'd love to anytime, y'all. Please reach out, chat with us. We're not just gonna hide behind a screen. We love hanging out with you guys. We love talking to you guys. If you want to squad up on anything that we're playing, let us know. We would love to do that. That sounds like a blast. I would love to have a giant group of people playing Starship Troopers with me. Not even fucking sorry that I'm talking about it this much because it's so much damn fun. Let's go squash some bugs together. Let's go kill some Volgas together. I would love to do that. I love our fans. I love our listeners so much. We do this as a hobby, but we enjoy doing it for you guys, and we enjoy doing it together, and we love that you guys are listening to us. We're just sitting here, just a bunch of, little hooligans just chatting, and y'all just listen to us, and I love that. Thank you. I know I say that every episode, but I really do mean it. And yeah, definitely squad up with us, chat with us. We love it.
Hell yeah. Well, all right. I guess that's it for us for now. With all that being said, I've been Ashley Chancellor.
And I've been Megan Gomez.
And we are Collateral Gaming. We are out.
Goodbye.
Collateral Gaming is a Collateral Media podcast. All music and game clips are owned by their respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.